So what's with the tap-out shirt? It's not a tap-out shirt. Where I'm from, it means hope. Ugh. That is so lame. So, back to the story. You were saying about the multiverse? People think the multiverse is infinite, right? But it's actually not. In fact, it's rather adorably finite, if you get my drift. I mean, we got your universe. Then we got the video universe. That's where the vid spawn come from, and those two are linked by the presence of video games in this world. That would explain why it was so easy to tear a hole between them, especially in Wario's Woods, where the boundaries are already weak. Then you got all the other cats. The Negaverse, the other Negaverse, the Negativeverse, Opposite Land, Fourth Dimension, the Aquaverse, the Cartooniverse, Guinea Pig Dimension, Candy Universe, and then you got the Antiverse, my fucking hood, and the home of all evil doppelgangers throughout the universe, comprised of pure antimatter.
Wait. Is the Antiverse a universe or a planet?
It's a universe, but with just one planet.
And it's our universe's opposite.
Yeah, that's what the anti-pot means, Chief.
So the opposite of human being is metal skull-face person in denim with claw hands.
Hey, why don't you have those claws anymore? Getting to that. Okay, please continue.
Hey, I just this second remembered something.
Remembered what, Ivan?
Fairy folk have a legend about an evil forest where two worlds came together. I mean, it's just a children's story, but I bet the place they were talking about was Wario's Woods.
Really? You could not have remembered this at any more early, opportune moment? Okay, how does the story go?
The human world had become filled with hatred. There was a war, two great armies, people choosing up sides, brother turned against brother.
The Civil War? World War II? No. Wait, I want to change my answer to the War on Christmas and the Duck Dynasty. No, guys, don't you see? He's talking about the console war. What? Nintendo versus Sega. Genesis versus SNES. That's the war, right?
I think... yes, that's it.
Whoa. How'd you figure that out? The show's about video games. I figured it would lead back there eventually. So what happened?
The hell if I know. The end of the story was basically stay the fuck out of the forest. It's really more of a cautionary tale than a legend, I guess.
I'll field that one. You see, the console war, it was making everything all fucked up and unstable, especially the borders between dimensions. So a group of wise sages, they assembled to cast a binding spell and preserve the multiverse, using Wario's Woods as an anchor point. The keystone of this spell was a secret item, an object whose identity was struck from all records, save that it originated in the video dimension, and was called the ultimate weapon of video games. So, the Master Sword?
Gotta be the Master Sword.
Master Sword. Agreed. I mean, it couldn't really be anything but, right?
Obviously the Master Sword.
Duh, Master Sword. Easy call.
I don't even know why they tried to make it a mystery. It's so obviously the Master Sword.
Anyway, the site of this ceremony, where the ultimate weapon is still supposedly hidden, the ultimate weapon that is clearly just going to turn out to be the Master Sword. Whatever. On that site now stands the Tower of Mystery. Ooh. Hey, I've been there! Yeah, I know. Alright, this is significantly more complicated than I was hoping. RetroThinker? Yo, will you help Ivan with the Ask Ivan mail while I sit here and try to absorb more of this convoluted nonsense? Roger that. Alright then. JJ Bang asks, is gamer culture ingrained with sexism, or is it just that gamers' tendency to use public and online avenues of discourse makes their sexism much more obvious than for consumers of other media?
Yes to all. I mean, it's easy to point out that culture in general has been sexist for a long time, and gaming is reflecting that. But I tend to be of the mind that that's not really an excuse. The rest of the media, like film, television, and literature, have made strides toward improvement in recent decades, while the supposedly cutting-edge world of gaming lags behind. That's a conundrum, but it's a solvable one, I think. It just takes time and effort.
Sean asks, why is Adventure Time better than MLP?
Rainicorns. Also a layered, textured approach to world building and character development that allows both sincerely mounted storytelling and random humorous digressions to work in tandem, creating compelling personalities and moments of genuine drama. But mostly Rainicorns.
Mr. Fist asks, Dear Ivan, I've noticed that apart from the Overthinker's brother, Buonafaccio, and yourself, the majority of characters all look suspiciously like the Overthinker. The Antithinker has the excuse of being from an alternate universe, but what about the others?
I'm not really seeing it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. I mean, I wear a yellow shirt and a hat, whereas I generally do not. Is the insinuation that all white men with beards look exactly the same? Yeah, that's kind of racist, Chief. Xander_VJ asks, have you guys ever considered to do a Kickstarter to improve the production values of the show?
How about no? Do I look like Zach Braff to you? Hell, do any of us look like Zach Braff to you?
So I guess he's going to use some of that Kickstarter money to distribute it himself directly to theaters, thus bypassing the traditional Hollywood release model? Nah, he sold it at Sundance for a whole bunch of money. Damn. And they call me the bad guy. Rettel asks, hey Ivan, ever done cosplay?
Maybe.
Angelo asks, what kind of music do you and the rest of the guys like? Metal.
Symphonic metal.
Hair metal. Crap metal. Fred Durst like a motherfucker. T-Bach1992 wants to know, do you think N64 and PlayStation 1 style low poly has a chance of becoming a popular art style for the indie downloadable games the same way that 8 and 16-bit has of late?
I really hope so. I mean, by design, I don't think there was quite as much really interesting stuff being done aesthetically in that period as there was in the Sprite era, but the clean 3D of early polys has a unique look all its own, and Minecraft certainly demonstrates that it has a certain visceral appeal.
Clown Boss asks, what's your stance on emulating classics and pirating old games for education and research purposes?
You know, the official stance of this show when it comes to piracy is still that piracy is technically wrong and that copyrights and intellectual property laws are important. But it can also be difficult to get proper exposure to classic games. Honestly, I'm pretty agnostic about the whole thing. I can't really make a legal argument on this stuff, but morally, if you're not doing it for profit and you can't reasonably get these games any other way, I have a really hard time being against that in any meaningful fashion.
Ingnoian wants to know, what are your thoughts on the Ratchet & Clank movie being made by Insomniac Games? Do you think we might have the first really good video game film on our hands, or do you think it might be a massive flop?
I want to see what kind of talent they actually hire or assign to the actual movie making before commenting. I get being exciting about the idea of a game's original makers doing the movie because maybe it'll be more faithful, but you still have to be, good at making movies, too.
I don't know, it worked fine for Marvel Comics.
Yeah, but Marvel mainly has final say and controls the trajectory of those projects. They still end up hiring actual filmmakers and screenwriters to do the actual movie making. Like, it's awesome that the new Captain America movie is based on Ed Brubaker's Winter Soldier, but they didn't just stick Brubaker on the set and say, okay, Ed, figure out how to direct a movie.
Crimson wishes to know, are reviewers becoming irrelevant with Metacritic and sites like those?
No. What Metacritic and other review aggregates are doing is devaluing the very real and important work that reviewers and critics do by perpetuating this bullshit ideal that consensus opinion on complicated subjective matters can be meaningfully expressed as a fucking percentage.
So I'm sitting around the Antiverse, chilling, doing my show, and I get fucking zapped into this freaking nebula. Wait, nebula? Like outer space, but you could breathe? Kinda, yeah. Was there a lot of debris? I, don't know what that word is. Isn't that like a kind of cheese? I don't know, were there like shards of an ancient civilization, long lost, left floating in the infinite ether? Yeah, that's the place! Holy shit! That's where I was when I got the yellow stone and became Necrothinker. Antithinker. Was there a scary-ass monster voice dude with a hood? Yes! Oh yeah.
Anti-Thinker. I have traveled between worlds and across across stars to find a champion worthy of my power. And that search has brought me to you. Swear allegiance to me, and ultimate power can be yours if you can complete one simple task. Eliminate the Game Overthinker.
Obviously, you realize I said yes. So this guy in the hood gave you your powers, and he gave you the ability to take human form. Okay, I don't suppose he has a name.
So says the Ultra Thinker.
Whoa.
Shit. Oh my god. We'll be right back with more Ask Gaiden. Deldrian asks, so Anti-Thinker, if My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is a pop culture phenomenon in our world, what's its counterpart show in your world? Yeah, in the Antiverse, Tarak was the breakout character from that show.
Behold the power of darkness!
It's really weird. Eric asks, what is your opinion on the representation or lack thereof of video game characters with mental disabilities or physical handicaps?
On the one hand, I think it deserves exploring. On the other hand, very careful exploring. It's pretty difficult to design games around a main character not being superhuman as it is. It'd be even more difficult to design a game based around actual handicaps in a positive way, without reducing a real thing that people have to struggle with every day to just another kind of hard mode.
Oog asks, what are your thoughts on the 8th generation consoles may provide from a gameplay perspective? What sort of things do you expect from them in that area?
More of the same, evidently. Apparently that's what we wanted.
Hypershell asks, what's your favorite Mega Man game?
2.
3. 3X. New World Orca wants to know, what characters do you want in Super Smash Bros. Wii U and 3DS?
Lolo.
Master Higgins. Stanley the Talking Fish. Spawn. 67th asks, what do you think about backwards compatibility going away with this generation of consoles?
It's bullshit. Just complete, utter bullshit. There's no excuse to not even offer, the option of paying extra for that feature at this point.
X Dear Life X asks, could you explain the difference between the video games cause violence debate and the video games and all other media affect people's thoughts and behavior debate currently raging between feminists and gamers?
Nuance.
Brandon asks, Anti-Thinker, Rory or Lorelei? Okay. Do you know how a turducken works? This conversation is over. Wednesday Special asks, what do you think the pros and cons of early access are?
It depends on the game and the people making it. On the one hand, it can be a way of getting solid sample feedback for improvements while getting more tangible and intangible support for a project that might need it. On the other hand, not everything benefits from that kind of early attention, and I wouldn't want to see designers who work better in a vacuum being forced to be more open with their unfinished work, just because that's the cool thing to do now.
Can you imagine some poor staffer at Nintendo having to go into the dev room and tell Shigeru Miyamoto that they want to release a part of his unfinished game online just for a taste? No way! You guys ever seen Scanners? So, you don't think this Ultra Thinker wanted you to kill me? I think he wanted us to meet, and to go to Wario's Woods and fight, but it's all part of some bigger game.
You see, when you killed me, right, you didn't really kill me. I went all non-corporeal, and I got stuck sitting in whatever the hell Ultra Thinker's base of operations is called. I slowly regained strength, and I could see him putting all his plans into motion. It was him that gave the fire and water stones.
Okay, good, the stones. Hold on. Okay. At long last, what the fuck are these things? I don't exactly know. Damn it! Aw, man!
What are we even doing here?
Look, he didn't give me a fucking human resources packet, alright? I heard about a ceremony, something to do with Wario's Woods, the ultimate weapon. I think I heard him call them Overstones once. Well, at least there's that. Anyway, he gave these fire and water Overstones to Pyrothinker and Cryothinker and told them how to find you. Do they know that?
Strawman's boys, they're both dumber than a sack of doorknobs. I don't think they can comprehend where they got their powers, and they definitely don't care.
But he did manipulate them into blowing up the Sharkade so Captain America here could get unthawed. And then he gave me the yellow Overstone, creating the Necrothinker.
And I assume he made sure that the white one wound up being Dr. Beardo's power source for the Robothinker.
Makes sense to me, but you gotta remember, I wasn't around at this point. Right around the time all this was going down, that purple guy from the future killed me for real. So this time I went, that time, your soul came to me.
You again.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, sometimes the devil comes here now. Yeah, I know. Sup, Fib? You know, chillin'. Just hadn't been on the show in a while is all. So, yeah, I wound up in hell. But this time the Ultra Thinker decided to punish me for my failure.
You were warned against failing twice, Anti-Thinker. Now, you will suffer, and your Antiverse will suffer with you.
Whoa.
Oh, man.
Jeez. He destroyed the entire Antiverse? He's that powerful? Well, like I said, just one world, but yeah, they're all gone. I'm the last survivor of a doomed race. After that, being condemned to hell was no big fucking deal. But how did you get out? Fib let me go. What?
The
Fuck? Ultra Thinker tried to double-cross me, and after I did him a solid by resurrecting the two ninjas.
who then immediately hooked up with Senator Lieberson, meaning
that Ultra Thinker is almost certainly behind the Oolong Tea Party and their anti-gaming initiative. Nice catch, guys. Ahem. And after all that, he was going to let that android wipe out the human race. I mean, the human race! It's like my most favoritist thing ever! So I stepped in and helped Retro-Thinker even the odds. Yeah, fuck you very much for that, by the way. And when the Anti-Thinker said he also wanted his pound of flesh, I said, sure, why not? For a price? Oh, your claws. And the ability to assume my true form for more than a few minutes at a time. Which seems very fucking arbitrary to me, by the way. Don't hate the player. Hate the game.
And so, here we are.
Okay, here's what's still bugging me about this.
You mean aside from the fact that almost everything that's happened to you for like the last 5 years has been the elaborate machinations of some malevolent godlike cosmic being?
The only way any of this Ultra Thinker's actions make any sense is if he wanted these Overstones to wind up in my possession. Or he knew that you, like I, grew up obsessed with video games, and thus the whole concept of color-coded magic stones with corresponding powers over earth, air, fire, and water would be irresistible to you. But why? What could he be trying to get me to do?
My assumption would be that whatever he is, his physical body is partially non-corporeal. It means however powerful he is, he can't fully manifest in this dimension. I mean, if he could, why go to all this trouble of manipulating minions into moving these stones around if he could just do it himself?
Maybe he just wanted you to have them all in this one place so someone else could take them from you. Senator Lieberson. Makes as much sense as anything else.
Anti-Thinker, think hard. Was there anything else Ultra Thinker ever talked about? Any other clues we can work with?
Boy, it's ironic that I'm the one whose intelligence and recall we should be relying on, huh? Oh man, I remember I remember one time going on about the Overstones. He was ranting and raving, something about stones, Wario's Woods, and, an altar. An altar. What fucking goes with an altar? Depends on the altar, doesn't it? A church?
A priest?
Maybe a rabbi? Candles?
Vestments?
Goblets? Candles?
Jesus fish?
How about a crucifix? Crucifix. Cross. Cross. Lost cross. Lost cross? He was going down a checklist. He needed the Overstones, the altar, and the lost cross.
So, great. We just have to figure out what the lost cross refers to.
Stones, altars, Tower of Mystery, lost treasure. What does this all mean? It means this isn't just a war. What we have here, gentlemen, is a quest.